All right. Can someone just confirm that you can see the presentation, even if it's just putting it in the chat, just so I know everyone can see it?
I can see it.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So this is Prep and Profit. It's a 45-minute Zoom class. I will get you out in under 45 minutes. I want to respect your time, especially on a Saturday, and just also thank you for coming. This is a class on if you are thinking of selling your home or considering it in the next, it doesn't even have to be immediately, in the next couple years, just how to get your home ready for the market and maximize the profit on your home, which I think is every seller's goal. So, if you don't know me, I am Bree Ortiz. I am a Northern Colorado realtor. I live and serve in Northern Colorado. I'm with a company called First Summit Realty. It's an independent boutique brokerage, and I've been a realtor for 5 years. Before real estate, I was an elementary teacher, and I really try and bring the power of education into everything I do with real estate, just because I think that when you feel educated, you feel both, informed and empowered to make the best decisions for you. So I love doing classes like this just to help give homeowners, sellers, even buyers as much information and, a toolbox that they can use. I also have worked for a new home builder called McStain Neighborhoods. I was their director of customer experience, and I built their customer service department. And I really try and bring the customer experience to the forefront of everything I do in my business and to provide the best experience possible. So today, what will you walk away with? We're going to go over what the current market is in Northern Colorado and what it means for sellers. I'm also going to go over something called the four Ps to give you the best competitive advantage when selling your home to make it sell the quickest and for the most amount of money. And then I'm all about just actionable tips, not always, theory and things like that. So I'm going to give you tips that don't require a full renovation. And after this class, I will email you a checklist so you can go room by room and kind of help prep or start to prep each room for a potential sale. We'll go over what the selling process looks like at a whole in case you haven't sold a home ever, or, in the past, I don't know, even in the past few years, it's changed, but just what the process looks like. And then common mistakes to avoid that can cost sellers time and then thus money as well. So again, this is for Larimer and Weld County. This is what the market looks like. These are stats from June. However, I think this is really consistent all of 2025. So here's kind of what the market has looked like in 2025. In Larimer County in June, 646 homes sold. So, people's life situations are always changing. They're having babies, their families are growing, getting smaller, job changes, things like that. People are buying their home for the first time, and homes are always selling. People are always looking to buy homes, even if it's not as quick as it has been in the past few years. The average days on market is 41 days, and it's been consistent with that all of 2025, between 40 to 46 days. And what that means is from the time a house is listed for sale until it gets an offer and goes under contract, it takes on average about 40-ish days. And it does change neighborhood to neighborhood, but that's as a countywide, what it looks like. For sellers, the close price to list price ratio is 99.3%. That means that sellers are getting 99.3% of the sale price compared to the list price. So it's just about not quite 100, but they are getting, right around that 99% of what they are listing it for, it's selling for that price. The average sales price in Larimer County is $691,821. And then months of inventory is right around 4 months. So what that means is that if there were no other homes to come on the market today, with the amount of buyers looking in the market today, it would take about 4 months for every home to be sold and absorbed into the market. And typically, so I don't know how closely you follow real estate stats. It's been kind of, I don't know, like a widely-ish known stat that if you have under 3 months of inventory, it's known as a seller's market. Typically, they say 4 to 6 months is known as a balanced market, and then 6 months and over is a buyer's market. That kind of phrasing, however, is from back when homes were listed in an MLS book, like book you actually flipped through, and before the internet, was widely used and available. So I really do think it is close to a balanced market. However, I think it does lean slightly more towards a buyer's market right now, just because the amount of information that buyers have access to between, the MLS, Zillow, they can easily scroll through so many homes so quickly and decide if that house is one that they want to see. The amount of information that they have to make a decision and amount of choices they have in homes right now, I do think it leads a little bit more towards a buyer's market. So, what does this all mean for you as a seller, and what are buyers expecting right now? Buyers overall are more cautious, they're more analytical, and they're unwilling to overlook condition or overpricing just to secure a home right now. With that, they know they have more choices than in previous years, and they do have the gift of time right now, so they're not rushing to make decisions. This year, I've had a few buyers who want to go look at a home. I think look at a home twice is pretty standard when it's not a crazy market. But I've had a few buyers look at homes like 4 times before making a decision. Buyers will see a home, they'll really like it, they'll sit on that decision for a week, maybe they'll go see it again. They are just really, really taking their time to move forward cautiously right now. And then many buyers are fatigued from high prices. And I think also with that, the high interest rates that are going on that we've seen for the past, at this point, 2 years. And they want a move-in ready condition home. Now, that does not mean you have to have like the most updated kitchen or bathrooms or anything like that. They just don't want a house that they have to move into and do a whole bunch of projects just to get it move-in ready. There is always a market for that. There's always buyers looking for that. I'd say the general population, though, they want something clean, organized that they can move into and then start to make their own. And buyers are also no longer willing to overpay just to secure a home. I said that earlier. They're comparing value and waiting for the right price. So I really think that they are just looking for a great value when buying a home. And I'll say that a couple times throughout this. So as a seller, what does that mean for you? You can still get a great price for your home with the average closing percentage at 99%. Preparation and presentation, they do matter more than ever. Having a clean, updated, and well-marketed home, that's the homes that we see still going quickly in this market. If you overprice, if you are overpricing your home, it often does lead to fewer showings, which means your house will sit for longer and often for less. Today's buyers, they're patient and selective, as I said, and buyers will just wait or walk. And by waiting, I mean, sometimes if you list your home for sale and you are stretching on the price, oftentimes you won't even see, they won't even make a showing. So if you're sitting and there's not any showings happening on your house, that can be a sign that you've stretched the price a little too far. Your home has to catch their eyes. They're swiping past, so the presentation is so important with photos. Presentation and promo and pricing all make the biggest difference. With presentation and promotion and pricing, I think that there's 4 things you can do to get your house to sell for the most amount of money in this market. There is not one value for any home. I think any home always has a range that it can sell for, depending on how much work you put into it and depending on these 4 Ps I'm about to go over. So preparation, presentation, price, and promotion give you the range that you can sell your home for. The more preparation and work that you put into it, I think the higher range you can get out of your home. And then if you just want to sell it as is, you'll be on the lower end of that range. I am also going to go over all of these 4 Ps more in depth, but here's a quick overview. So the first P, preparation. Buyers, as I said, they have higher expectations with inventory rises. They have a lot of choices. So they want to pick the best house out of the bunch. And the preparation is the key to standing out and attracting top dollar offers. A well-prepped home that equals more eyes. First of all, I think it draws more people in when it's listed on the internet, which can lead to more showings. And the more showings, the higher chance of an offer you have. And then thus, hopefully, better offers that you'll get on your home. The second P, presentation. It's all about how buyers feel during a home. They want to walk into a home that they can imagine themselves living in. So it's all about them creating a lifestyle, and inviting them to envision the lifestyle that they can have in your home. Things that help with that are having a clean, clutter-free home and an inviting space that helps make a lasting impression. So some examples are leaving all the lights on during showings, having the curtains open, just making it nice and bright, keeping it nice and clean, not having like your laundry out and on the floor. I've seen that. Stage to highlight a space, and then attention to small details helps buyers envision themselves living in your home. With that, price. So preparation and presentation, they do directly impact your price potential. Every seller has a different goal for the sale of their home. They have a different timeline. The more preparation that you put into it, the higher price you can achieve. If that is not a goal, or if that's not obtainable just for your timeline, then you can, do the quickest amount of work, and that does also affect the price. It just depends on your goals. A well-staged move-in ready home can support a higher list price, kind of like I just went over. And with a proper pricing strategy, you'll attract more buyers, have stronger offers, and a quicker sale. Typically, the less amount of time your home spends on the market, the higher the offer will be. And so my job is to position your home to hit its optimal value in today's market, and also the quickest amount of time. So the last P is promotion. And so we are trying to get as many eyes on your home as possible. We want to cast the widest net for the most amount of buyers to see it. And that equals more potential for a strong sales price. I don't just rely on the MLS. My strategy is multi-platform. I'll get into that a little bit. But one thing you'll hear me say in a couple slides is one of my marketing strategies is the 7-11-4 rule. And what that means is, in today's market, buyers need to make a buying decision. They need 7 hours with a product, or to think about a product. They need 11 touch points to interact, or have the opportunity to interact with that product on 4 different platforms. I'll go over that a little bit more in depth on how to help market your home with that strategy in mind. And then some components of effective promotion are targeting, marketing, and exposure to the right audience. Figuring out what kind of buyer is going to be the most likely to buy your house and targeting specifically towards them. And of course, having high quality visuals and copy as well. That being said, all of these things do work together, and any realtor can promote your house as much as possible. But if it's overpriced or under-prepped, it's not going to succeed as well as if you work all of these in together. And let me just check any questions before I keep going. All right. So this first one is about the preparation, and yes, so this one is going over the first 2 P's, prepping for getting your house ready to market. And I will have a 1-page checklist. It goes room by room on a few things you can do to help clean and organize that space, getting it ready for the market. Like I said, I really think actionable steps that you can take away are the most helpful. So I will have that emailed out after this with the recording. You'll get a whole checklist. This just kind of goes over a few things. So I think the 3 main things when getting your house ready are to declutter and depersonalize, clean and repair, and doing some light styling of the home. I'll go over that as well. So decluttering, this is a great time to start pre-packing your house. And instead of like decluttering, I think pre-packing is a great way. See what you want to take with you to the next place you're moving to, and just start putting away things that maybe will look messy in a buyer's eyes. Just start putting them away, and you're already one step ahead of things because time, I don't know. When you sell your house, there's so many things to do. It's a crazy time. So the more that you can pre-pack, I think the more successful and maybe less stressed you'll feel throughout the process. Our goal with this is to create space. Buyers, I kind of say HGTV has ruined buyers' expectations on a home. They want to come in, walk into a home, and have it look like no one's living there. They want a clean space, they don't want stuff everywhere. They just want to be able to imagine themselves and their life in your house and see if it works for them. So we want to create space, and that includes removing personal photos, excess furniture, little knickknacks on shelving, just having it as clean and neat as possible. And I know I say these things, and the way we live, especially like, I mean, even as a realtor, the way I live with kids is not the way, that the same way that we sell a house. It's two totally different. And if you think, oh my gosh, my house does not look like it should right now, I'm totally overwhelmed. Me too. Like my house does not look like it would be ready for the market tomorrow. So I think the easiest way is pick one room, start there, and just start packing what you don't need, start putting things away, and just go one room by one room along the way. And when you hire a realtor, they will be there every step of the way to help you as well, and to give you personalized items and personalized things to do for your house too. So it's not something you have to do alone. A realtor is there to help you. Then also cleaning and repairing your home. So again, the way we live in our home is very different. You might have a list of to-dos that you've had on your like house list for little honeydew items that you've had for a while. I mean, I know that I have a whole bunch of things in my house that eventually I'll get to, but they haven't been priorities. When you go to sell your house, you do want to get those items taken care of. If a buyer walks into your house and they see a whole bunch of, they can be small, but a bunch of small issues that need to be repaired, they tend to think that the home hasn't been well maintained, and a buyer does want a well maintained house. So I would say clean up that to-do list, that honey-do list, and then also it'll help showcase your home's upkeep by having a clean house. So I'd say do a deep cleaning, touch up paint. If you have brightly colored walls, paint those walls in neutral color, and fixing small things, kind of like we chatted about, such as that door that always sticks. And then focus on lighting. I think you may not live like this, and that's totally fine. When the houses that show the best and photograph the best have the bright white lights instead of like the yellow tones, I think bright white are better. So changing out lights, making sure your home smells fresh and clean, getting rid of pet odors, things like that, and just, trying to make the best first impression possible. And then finally, light styling. Again, your realtor will help you with this depending on who you work with. They may offer staging solutions in their like pricing and packaging. I know that I do. So some things that I think are helpful that you can do on your own though is making sure you just have like a neutral bedding color, fresh white towels in the bathroom, make it look nice, bright and clean. And then I don't know, something small like a bowl of lemons in the kitchen, some greenery throughout the house. And I think don't go overboard. A little bit does go a long way. And this is another thing your realtor is there to help you with every step of the way. So let's talk about pricing. As a seller, I think everyone's goal is you want to sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time without feeling like you've left money on the table. And with that, I hear a lot. I think a lot of sellers are like, well, let's just stretch the price just to see what happens. Let's just push and see if we can get an offer at this price. And then it ends up in overpricing your home. And what happens when you overprice your home is honestly nothing. Like no showings come in since no one's seeing your home. Your home sits for longer and you don't get any offers. So stretching for a price too much really can hurt your ultimate sale, and you'll end up selling for less. At a certain point, if you stretched your price and your home is just sitting on the market, there is a certain point where buyers start to wonder what's wrong with this house? Why hasn't it sold? And it can be a perfectly great home, but because it's overpriced, no one's been seeing it, no one's been putting offers in on it, and it's just sitting. And then buyers are starting to wonder what is wrong with your house, even if there's nothing wrong at all. So I say it's kind of like you're doing damage on the buyer's mindset. And just damage to your potential sale profits too. So that is something to keep in mind. Pricing is a science. It's the most important strategy you'll employ when going to market. And I said this earlier, but all houses have a range of value that the home is worth. The only equalizer for preparation or lack thereof, poor presentation and lazy promotion is the price. And again, with this range, it just depends on you and your goals for the sale of your house and your timeline. So this triangle is just a visualization that kind of shows if you're stretching for price. So if the house is listed at market value, you'll capture about 60% of the buyers looking for a home right now that fit your criteria. And then as you stretch the price, even stretching by 10%, you can see that less buyers will look at your home, even online, really take it seriously. So you do end up reaching less and less buyers the more you stretch your home. One analogy that I really like is that when you list your home for sale, you have a parade of buyers going through. All of the buyers on the market pass by your home. You'll have a group of them where your home does fit their criteria. However, and it's a great time. The first few weeks are fantastic. You have this big parade. Everyone's looking at your home. They're all interested in it. However, this parade does pass and you can't get that momentum back. As you've been sitting longer and longer, once you hit like that 30-day mark, you really are now waiting for these new buyers to come on the market. And I don't know, it depends on your home, on the market, but it's maybe a couple buyers a week where your home actually fits their criteria. So you just have these stragglers now passing by your home viewing it. And then as you do things, even like with a price drop, of course, a group, maybe not everyone, I should say, a group of them will go back and kind of look at the photos again, look at your house, see if they want to make an offer or even make a showing, I should say. However, you have the best momentum those first few weeks with that large group parade. So just that first time you list is the way to make the biggest impact on your house and on the sale of your home. Things that determine the price in your home are comparable sales nearby. I'll go over this a little bit. I think it's the next slide. And sales matter, sales in the past 6 months. However, I would say right now your biggest competition are the homes that are currently for sale in your neighborhood or even, at a city, county level wide of homes that are similar. So active homes really that are currently for sale really are your biggest competition because that's who the buyers are going to see and who they're comparing your home against. Your property condition and upgrades that you've done also impact the price. How prepared you are for showings, how well your home presents during showings can affect that. Market conditions, which also includes interest rates. And then marketing reach includes a lot of the promotion stuff that affects the price, as well as being flexible on terms. When you get an offer, price, of course, is important. However, there's a lot of other deadlines and parts that you can negotiate, such as deadlines, like when you close, seeing if it's a contingent offer. There's more than just price that you can be flexible on and negotiate to help, I don't know, to help have the best offer package for you and your goals. Things that do not determine the price, your original purchase price. And then I think with that, what your financial goals are and how much you need to get out of the home. I understand that everyone's situation is different, especially if you were trying to sell a house that you bought in 2021, 2022, 2023, in the past 2-3 years. The market has remained pretty stagnant. So just because you purchased a house for more, it doesn't mean that your house has gone up or moved in value right now. And every house is different. That's something that a realtor will help you with. Other things that do not determine the price of your house are comparable sales in unique markets. If there's a one-off home that sold, I don't know, for way over what you want to list your home for, but it has maybe land or who knows, it just has different characteristics. Just because there's that one home that sold, it doesn't mean that your house is also worth that much. We're looking at the average group of homes that are just like yours, because that's what buyers are also looking at in general. The investment you've made in home maintenance, such as like the value that you perceive or the value that you've been told of like solar panels, or maybe you upgraded your kitchen appliances for $5,000. Just because you've paid X amount for something doesn't mean you can raise your price by that same amount when selling your home. It's not always a one-to-one ratio. And then last thing on pricing, how do you determine a pricing strategy? Of course, a realtor is here to help you with that. You need to just really, I'd say there's some questions to ask yourself and think about. What are your goals for getting to your new place? And so again, do you want to put in a more work and sell for top dollar, or do you just think that's too much? I can't do that. Let's just sell it for as is and adjust the price based on that. And then what is your timeline? How quickly do you need to get to your new place and have this place sold? Along with that, do you need to sell your current house before moving to another, buying another? So just questions to kind of think about and ponder. And then pricing this year, we are looking at, I just mentioned this in the last slide. I am still looking at what has sold in the past 6 months, not year, past 6 months. However, your biggest competition really is what's on the market today, because that's what the current group of buyers are going to look at. Every market is different. So market velocity matters. That means how quickly homes are selling or not selling in your neighborhood. It doesn't impact pricing and urgency. I just had a house close in Loveland. And while the days on market was like 45 at that time, in their market, homes were selling for 14 days. So that was a good indicator of if our house is not under contract in 14 days, I should say homes were going under contract in 14 days. So I had to talk with the sellers. If the house is not under contract in 14 days, that's a sign that we may need to, look at things, review things, and adjust. So again, it does depend market to neighborhood to sorry, the market velocity, it does depend neighborhood to neighborhood how quickly homes are going in each one. And that will kind of help determine your plan and strategy as well. Other things to factor in are your home's upgrades, conditions, and the prep level that you've done. And so my goal is always to position your home as the best value in the eyes of the buyers, where they say, we want to pick that home without you leaving money on the table. And then the final part is the final P, I should say, is promotion. So promotion, especially in this market when homes are sitting for over a month, it's a long game, and activities should be completed every week by a realtor. I have an 8-week marketing plan where there are new strategies, new things I'm employing every single week. And I email my sellers every Monday with strategies that I've done, what they've looked like. And along the way, it includes analyzing successes, see where we need to readjust or redirect attention, and go from there. So it's not put all your eggs in one basket in the first week and hope something hits and just sit there for the next few weeks. Things have to be done every week to keep it in front of those buyers' eyes and top of mind. So this does have to go beyond just taking professional photos, putting your home in the MLS and calling it a day. You do need more than that from your realtor. And I mentioned it briefly earlier. One of the strategies that I employ is the 7-11-4. So again, that means buyers need 7 hours of time with your home, or time to, even just have exposure and think about it. 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms. And so some of those platforms can look like print marketing. That includes mailers. I drop off flyers to your neighbors, inviting them to choose their next neighbor, and flyers that will go with your house. Then digital marketing that can include like boosted ads online, so that way they are getting another platform. I have a in my email newsletter, I think I'm hitting right about 850 or 900 local residents of Northern Colorado. And so being able to promote to them on there versus, of course, like the internet, that's how everyone's seeing it through Zillow, Realtor, the MLS, whatever their preferred website is. Buyers are seeing it that way. It's reaching out to other realtors as well and saying, please send this to your buyer if you think it's a good fit. That way they'll get another touch point. And then another platform is social media marketing, and that's running targeted ads. And it really is creating high quality modern videos that go beyond a just listed photo. It's creating, all of my videos are lifestyle kind of videos, like imagine your mornings in this house, or if I wanted a house with these features, here's what I would pick. So it's just having modern marketing that is reaching out to the most likely buyer for your home, as well as doing open house and or other events. So open houses can be for realtors, they can be for the general public, and you can do neighborhood specific ones. Also for a house that I just had for sale, one of the targeted buyers was likely a first-time home buyer, who bought the house. And one idea for an event was having a first-time home buyer class there or doing some sort of event at the house so they can get in there, see the house, put more eyes on it, and also just learn how they could the process of buying a house and potentially making that house the one. So in this market, I think in any market, especially in this market, you really need a realtor who is always looking to improve and to cast the widest net for your house to reach the most amount of people, and who is being as creative as possible when marketing your home. Okay, we are close to the end. I'll check the chat. Any questions that have gotten brought up? Like I said, I know it's a lot of information. So if there's anything you want clarification on, please feel free to jump in. Okay. So here's some common mistakes that cost sellers. And this first one, I think it's skipping the prep, rushing to list your house. Of course, some people have timelines where they have to get their house sold or even listed by a certain date, or and so those circumstances aside, or I think with skipping the prep, also just thinking, oh, I'll do this here when we get close to listing. When you are listing a home, you'll have documents to fill out, documents to gather. There's a lot and of course, starting to pack, there's just a lot to do. And so prepping, if you don't make intentional time for it, it can easily get skipped in a home that isn't clean. It's cluttered with stuff, or like I said, there's a bunch of repairs that need to be done. It just turns buyers off. In this market, buyers are so picky. We are trying to minimize anything that could make a buyer say, this house is not the one for me, because of a simple thing such as not cleaning it, not decluttering a space or pre-packing a space as much as possible. So even small cosmetic fixes like paint and lighting, they do really have a big impact on perceived value of the home. Another common mistake is ignoring the exterior and curb appeal. First impressions are the biggest thing if buyers will even see your home, and that starts with photos. But then once they pull up to your house, the outside of your home, the exterior is really, they're forming opinions and thoughts right away. So, yep, they will often judge a home before they even open the door. I had a buyer this spring, and we were looking at a handful of homes. And one home, the grass was definitely dying. There were weeds. The yard just wasn't fantastic. And before we even opened the door, she already told me, she was like, I don't think this is the one. So it's just like that. First impressions really do matter. And we are looking for ways to minimize buyers saying, I don't think so. Buy something that can't easily be fixed. So peeling paint, weeds, and a cluttered front porch, they all set the wrong tone. Even if the inside of your house is fantastic, it's already just a little ding, and we want to minimize that. There are quick fixes like putting fresh mulch in, designated areas, adding flowers, especially this time of year, or a clean entryway goes a long way. And actually, now that I said the flowers, it made me think one tip for you. If you were thinking, I want to sell my house, but maybe not until the winter, maybe not until like December, I don't know. It could be November up until April, I would say. If you are selling anytime in the winter or very early spring months, what I would do is talk with your realtor, tell them when you want to sell, and get photos of the exterior right now. Right now, when our grass is green, when our trees are bloomed, there's leaves on them, when our flowers are all bloomed. It just will look, it does always look so, so nice when buyers are going through looking at houses, scrolling through January, all the other homes, they have photos and their exterior, it's fine. Like it still looks, nice and organized. But if the grass is brown, then when they see your home with the photos of a green grass, flowers on the front porch, something like that, it just stands out so much. So if you were thinking of not, that's just a little tip. If you're not selling until winter or very early spring months, still talk with your realtor and have them get photos right now. It can be anywhere from now until like September, I would say, is a great time to get photos just at the exterior. Don't worry, you don't have to have your interior clean, organized. You can have a photographer come, they'll have someone come and just take professional photos on the outside, and it will look so nice come if you list in the winter. So small little tidbit for you. Another third mistake is chasing the market. And that's where I say, let's list too high just to see what happens. 90% of the time, what happens is you have to drop the price later. You just are slowly chasing the market down. You keep dropping the price, trying to figure out where the buyers are who are interested in making an offer on your home. And it does result in a lower final price than if you just priced it right from the beginning. In this market, we just have to stay ahead of shifting expectations. And there are high expectations right now. So we just need to, again, I know I feel like there's a lot of things I'm repeating, but we just need to present your home as the best value for buyers because that's what they're looking for right now. Because their mortgage payment is really top of mind. So we want to find something that they think for this high mortgage payment I am paying, I want it to be worth that cost. And then finally, another common mistake is letting emotions lead the process. There's lots of different reasons for selling your home. I think no matter what, selling your home is always emotional. I think we all love our homes that we live in. So, and there's so many great memories. And even if you're ready to close a chapter, it can be scary. And am I making the right move? It's hard to say goodbye. It's hard to pack up all of these things. However, that being said, emotional decisions such as refusing offers, not even willing to negotiate or be open-minded about some things in the beginning. In the beginning, if you get an offer that's most of the time, like 99% of the time, that is going to be the highest and best offer. And so not even be willing to negotiate or trying to see if you can find a win-win solution for everyone, that can end up hurting your final sales price and process. And it can backfire. As your realtor, I'm here to help you with empathy and support. And I always say, you are the one making the decisions. I'm the one guiding the process. I will tell you, the consequences, both good and bad, of different decisions. Decisions are yours to make. I will just be there to help you kind of say, this could happen one way or the other if you choose to do any sort of certain action. Okay, I'm going to pause here 1 second. I saw something pop up in the chat. So let's see. Do you think painting the outside of the house a different color has any impact, or would that be a waste of money as long as the current paint is intact? I do think that depending on the color of the house, it can help. This is one where I really think talk with a realtor and they will give you professional advice. I think if you have a pink home, painting it something neutral will attract more buyers. Our house before we bought it, it's like a tan color now. It was yellow, and we bought our house knowing it needed a lot of work. We were fine with that. My husband does joke. He said if we also showed up and the house was yellow, we wouldn't have seen it. But the tan exterior did help. I think depending on the color, it can help. However, I think if you just want something fresh and clean, I don't know, but it is a neutral color, you're fine to leave it. Again, this is a really specific one. I would say chat with a realtor more, and I would also be happy if you want to go over that more with me. I'd be happy to do that too. So I hope that answered the question. Okay, here's an overview of what the sale process looks like. This is a big picture. I am going to, when I send you this email after class with the recording and things, I will also put a seller's guide in there. And it goes over kind of all of this more in detail. I'm just going to do a high level overview really quick. So what the sales process looks like. I think when you are ready to start getting like more of a customized plan and strategy for your home, reach out to a realtor. They will come and do what's called a listing consultation. For me, we will walk through your house. I'll give you specific tips on getting it ready for your home, such as like, do you need to paint the exterior or is it fine? They'll go through and give you specific tips for your house. For me, I don't know what everyone's looks like. For me, myself, I will go over like your goals, your timeline, just to figure out what you want. It's never the case like in something like this, but I do say I do always listen more than I talk. So it's a lot of me at this point in the listing consultation, asking you questions and listening and just seeing what you want, what your hopes and dreams and goals are. And then I will bring some current market data, and we at that point will develop like a range that I think your house can sell for. And then it's talking and saying how much work you want to put into it. And we keep touching on price all the way up until you get ready to actually list your house. Because I think if I meet with someone, oftentimes I'll meet with buyers a few months or sellers a few months before they're ready. It can be even be a year before they're ready to sell their home. Um, the market, of course, and pricing can, of course, change in, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, anywhere upwards of that. So pricing, of course, changes. We'll kind of go over like, here's a few prices that I think we can look at. And then it's just a thing we keep touching base on. And then as we get closer, then as we get closer to listing, then we'll narrow in on a list price. So you'll have a listing consultation. After that, you will have things to do. You'll have a little to-do list to get your house ready for the market, again, that are specific to your house. And for me, I know that I offer staging services as part of my services. And so that can include, maybe if you'll have a vacant house, it can include a stager coming in and putting furniture. It can also be just a stager walking through. We'll do a walkthrough with the stager and just saying how to make your house shine the best that it can with your current items in there too. So that's what it looks like a lot of times as well. After the house is staged, we'll get professional photos and videos in there to again help it perform and show as beautifully as it can online to cast the widest net, get the most amount of people wanting to schedule a showing on your house. And then we'll start the marketing period. And the marketing period can start even before your house is on the market. It's doing like coming soon, listing your home as coming soon online. Just even little sneak previews online and just saying this house is about to hit the market if you're looking for this, and just creating a buzz about your home before it hits the market. And of course, as soon as your home is on the market actively for sale and showings have started, the marketing period, like I said, I have an 8 week plus strategy that we every week it's new things to help keep your home top of mind so it doesn't, so what we kind of say, it doesn't go stale and buyers forget about it. Just to keep it in front of buyers so they can keep remembering it and staying top of mind, make a showing, and hopefully make an offer sooner than later on your house. Once you get an offer, I touched on this very briefly earlier. Then we'll do offer negotiations, and that does go beyond price. There's a whole bunch of things we can negotiate, such as what is included in the sale of the home, what's not included, how long their contingency or under contract period lasts, their due diligence period. There's a whole bunch of things we can negotiate within an offer. The seller guide that I'll email, it goes over some more things that are negotiable in a contract too. So that will go over that more in depth. And then once you reach a point where all the parties have agreed to terms, we sign a contract, you're officially under contract, and the buyer's due diligence period starts. During this period, that's where they get an inspection on your home. They will negotiate or ask for repairs or credits, money instead of repairs. They'll get an appraisal on your house to make sure that it appraises for, it's valued at least what they're offering. They will make sure that they can find affordable home insurance. They will look over like any documents that you've kept and are providing, such as like HOA documents. Maybe you've kept receipts and manuals, things like that. And this due diligence period lasts, I would say if they do not have a home to sell, it's typically 30 to 45 days. 30 is the most common. If buyers have to sell their house before buying your house, that does extend this period as well. And again, that is something that we'll kind of go over during the offer negotiations as well. And then finally, closing on the house and a big celebration because it's a lot of work. I'm not here to say that it's not. It's a lot of work to clean your house, to declutter, to pack. It's, of course, that's a lot of work. And then going through the offer negotiations, the marketing, it's both physically taxing and it can be mentally taxing. As a realtor, I'm always here anytime you need to call and just need a shoulder to lean on. However, so yes, you'll finally get to closing, selling your house, and that's of course a big celebration time. And wrapping up, here's my big 3 takeaways from this class. The more you prep, the smarter you prep. You'll get more offers, higher offers, and a faster sale. Typically, the two are synonymous. Higher offers also go along with having a faster sale. So that's the first one. Number 2, you don't need to remodel. Like I said, you don't need to have the most updated home in order for it to sell. Of course, those are great bonuses, but you just need a plan to kind of help present your space in the best light possible. I will send you that checklist, but also as your realtor, I'm here to help you every step of the way with that too. And then the third one, prepping, presentation, pricing, and promotion are the magic combo to get your house, again, going back to number 1, to sell as quickly as possible and for the highest price as possible. And that was everything. I know that was a lot. Like I said, you'll get this presentation. I just wanted to do an overview of what it looks like. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'm available as well. Okay, perfect. No new questions. There any other final questions? Okay, one, I guess I shouldn't have stopped screen sharing. Let me share really quick. One final thing. Oops, let me present. So next steps, if you are ready, I guess next steps that you can expect, and if you're ready to go further, coming to your email, I will send you a 1-page prepping checklist. I will also send you a showing checklist for when your house does hit the market on things you can do. It's like taking out the trash, opening your blinds, turning on lights to help your home show as best as possible. The seller guide that goes into some more of the more nitty gritty and in-depth parts of selling. And then I will send you this class recording. That will come to your email as soon as I can get this video recorded and uploaded. If I have your address, I will send you I'll just drop off a little CMA for your home. That's a general market analysis. It's based on an algorithm. This is without me seeing your home, without me knowing any updates, and it will have a range just so you can get an idea of maybe what your home is worth. And then if you're ready to go a little further and go into more specifics for your house, I will schedule, or like I would love to schedule, I always leave it up to you. You can reach out to me and schedule a one-on-one consultation where we can chat and go through kind of next steps and what that would look like for you. So that is everything. I want to thank you so much for coming, and I am here if you do have any other questions.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.